MDO, my digital office. What is it exactly?
In the past year, we sort of went through a soft rebranding where we really want that MDO name to stick out there, right? It really started out of solving one issue for hotels, which is for you guys, I'm talking about it like, this was such a headache, it was such a big experience, but for you guys, it's probably just a drop in the bucket.
Hi, this is Ted Kelly with another Test Hospitality Minute. Hey, today we've got an awesome guest on. His name is Eduardo Burkhard. He is the Senior Enterprise Business Development Executive for My Digital Office, the short name MDO, and he's going to come on and talk a little bit about the great products and services that they're offering over there and give us a little bit of his background and how we got in the hospitality world. Eduardo, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ted. It's great to see you again. We met in person at the Hunter Conference, but I had been following you for a while, so I was really excited to see you in person and to be here.
Wow. Well, thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time. We're excited to have you. Obviously, we want to learn more about you and more about the products and services that you guys are offering. But before we get into the products and services, I want to back up. Tell us a little bit about you, your background, and how you got into the hospitality world.
Yeah, of course. And I'll kind of try to sum it up best as possible to not go too long. But if you haven't guessed as of yet with my name, I was born in Venezuela, so I grew up speaking two languages, English, Spanish. Later on in life, developed Italian. So I always kind of geared towards hospitality. But back when I moved to the States, 10 years old, I kind of went through school and everything here. And after college, actually, my last semester in college, I worked for a wonderful Ritz-Carlton property. And once you work at those properties and see the level of hospitality, you really just fall in love with it. So that was my last semester in college. After I graduated, I ended up going abroad to live in Italy for a year. And actually a very nice experience that I worked at a beach club down there in southern Italy next to the ocean. But after about a year of doing just, outside sales and something different, I wanted to jump into hospitality and kind of, understand and really learn the business really well. And a lot of times that's, like a lot of people in the business do, which is working your way up from the front desk. And and since then, I've moved around different management positions, different hotels, a lot of times with the higher brand, but both at select service and full service locations. And then, I found myself in hospitality tech.
All right. So, there's a lot of people that have gone from the doorman all the way to the CEO level in the hospitality world. So the sky's the limit, as they say in the hospitality world. So talk a little bit, Eduardo, about once you finish your hospitality experience abroad in Italy, you came back stateside. I think you were doing some work with the Hyatt Place or the Hyatt Corporation. Talk a little bit about your experience while you were at Hyatt.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience, and it's it was in the select service segment. It's a Hyatt Place, and it was actually, at that time, it was managed by Aimbridge Hospitality. But about a year after, 6 months to a year after my time there, during my time there, is when we started doing renovations on the property. And that was very exciting because these are old properties. They were Ameri suites. Ted, you probably remember them.
Right.
So anyways, we were all expecting the renovation. And renovation was it was a handful. For me in operations, I was leading the front desk team, and there's just a lot of nuances to learn and go through because we were doing floor by floor, so it's blocking certain floors, and taking care of the noise aspect of it, and then at the same time you're still functioning like a regular hotel. You want groups coming in, weddings, whatever. So it really is a challenge. But I tell you what, when you have a team, especially like a chief engineer on on property to really help with that. It was a great experience, and I think, I mean, would I do it again? I don't know. It's definitely a challenge, but I think once your returning guests, especially, notice all the work that you've put on property, it really pays off.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about PIPs is that by the time they actually get to the property level, it's probably been about 10 months of planning that went into trying to get all that stuff organized and queued up just so you could do that little, 3 months or whatever, 12 weeks worth of construction work there at the property. And that's the interesting thing about our work is that, a good third-party project manager will help you organize all of those critical steps in a renovation. And hopefully by the time you get to the property level, you've talked with the operations side of it well enough, long enough. Everybody understands what's going to happen. And of course, you're always going to have those, this happened. But overall, the project should run a lot smoother. You should be able to get through your schedule reasonably close to what you were trying to get through. And most importantly, most ownerships and most franchisees obviously want to always stay on budget with the cost for the renovation. So it's always interesting when we get into there because that's a key part of any PIP renovation.
Yeah, and I think you're right on. I mean, once the renovation started, it went pretty quick, but we're definitely having to bear the brunt on the operations side. So.
Right. And now you went through a second, I think, renovation as well. Was it still Hyatt Place or was it?
Yeah. So it was a Hyatt Place, another one of these, original Marriott Suites properties. But it was a Hyatt Place, and it was owned by SVC, which at that time owned a lot of Hyatt Places and a good chunk of the Sonesta portfolio. Owners decided to rebrand, and it became a Sonesta Select. Now, that wasn't a renovation, really. It was more of the brand refresh or the brand turnover. So we're conversion. That's where how things said. But basically, changing a lot of the signage. Obviously, there are different standards, whether that's breakfast in the lobby, in the rooms. But I remember myself having to, go up to the rooms. We're changing the phones, for example, putting up like new fire signs, whatever that was. But there was some level of work to be done, even though it was an actual renovation.
Yeah, no, those conversions are, in our minds, they're still full-blown renovations because you really have to go through the PIPs and make sure everything is getting checked off and changed over to the new brand standard, and everybody's happy at the end, of course, with the new product. So, but no, that's a wonderful experience into the life and times of what we at Interserv Hospitality deal with all the time.
Yeah, for you guys, I'm talking about it like, this was such a headache. It was such a big experience. But for you guys, it's probably just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, well, it's just a lot of planning, pre-planning, a lot of communication. So that's what goes into a PIP, obviously. But no, it's a great experience, and we deal with it quite often. It seems like it's always something new, no matter what. Talk a little bit for a minute about MDO, My Digital Office. What is it exactly?
Yeah. So, funny inside story. I'll give you a snippet. A lot of times when we talk to, other organizations or we're recruiting somebody, they always say My Digital Office. It doesn't really speak to hospitality. So that's kind of, we in the past year, we sort of went through a soft rebranding where we really want that MDO name to stick out there, right? But it really started out of solving one issue for hotels, which is getting rid of paper. Our business is very manual in nature, a lot of paper, outdated processes. So that was really what gave birth to My Digital Office. Our founder, Ali, he used to work with his dad in kind of like a paper business, let's call it, but it evolved into working with hotels. And since there, we found a niche and we started growing our customer base. And then that's when we started getting into more of the BI aspect. because our customers just kept asking for more and more capabilities. So now MDO is really a full-on business intelligence platform where you can do digital document management, obviously the paperless night audit, reporting dashboards to look at metrics, KPIs, trends, budget and forecasting. You can actually build budget and forecast. And then we actually have a really a newcomer to our platform that came through an acquisition last year. It's called Data Vision. And Data Vision does a lot of what I just mentioned, but at a very much more customizable level for the luxury and resort segments.
Wow. So you guys can cover, say, it sounds like the whole spectrum from luxury to select economy. It doesn't really matter in terms of classification of hotel. It just kind of matters who wants to try to bring in your product and get it going. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, there's a little bit for everyone, and especially with the MyDoc solution, the paperless night audit, that's sort of a very low barrier to entry because of the low price point and the return on investment on that, just by saving, printing, all the paper, wear and tear on your printers, storage, offsite storage. Even for an economy and select service hotels, it's a huge benefit. And you're going green, right? Which is a big topic nowadays. We give you like automatic feedback into how much paper and all that you're saving.
Yeah, that is awesome. So you guys have, if I looked at it right, you guys have my perspective, my revenue, my plan. You kind of got some different categories of that. You want to touch on just at maybe a high level what each of those are in terms of what they do?
Yeah, of course. Very high level. So, and the MyDocs is the paperless night audit portion, which I just kind of emphasized. But basically, we integrate with all the big brands and all the big PMSs out there to make that a digital process. The My Perspective and My Revenue, they both focus on business intelligence. So, getting all your systems from your POS, accounting, labor, what have you, getting them all in a centralized location, so your different teams can actually make sense of the data and make strategic decisions. The My Revenue was actually also came through an acquisition last year. We're very excited about that because it adds that level of revenue to our platform. And then the last one was Data Vision, and Data Vision again focuses on that luxury segment. It's a very powerful and very customized solution. So a lot of resorts and luxury properties out there, they have all these different systems and outlets, whether it's the spa, F&B, golf, ski. And what happens, Ted, is that they just keep adding all these systems and hoping that they can integrate it. What we see happen a lot in the space in general is that hoteliers are spending too much of their time, copy and pasting, extracting reports, Excel, when they should really be focused on strategy. So, in a nutshell, all of our solutions are automate a lot of these manual processes and really bring more value because of the speed to market that you can get on that.
Awesome. Yep. That is awesome. Who's using your product? Some of the guys that's using your product.
Yeah, so some of the big players out there, Hotel Equities, they have our full suite. Highgate Hotels, Remington, they use the paperless night audit. And then on the Data Vision side, we work with Mandarin Oriental, we work with Lowe's, KSL Resorts. So yeah, wow. Definitely have a pretty global reach as well.
Yeah, and does it take a long time to implement your platform if somebody decides they want to ultimately use your product?
Well, Ted, that depends on which hotel we're talking about, which resort, and which product. So the paperless night audit solution is talking about the low barriers to entry. That's also a benefit because that solution if everyone is doing their job, so to speak, but it goes on both sides, both our side, but also the hotel side. I've had hotels be onboarded in 2 weeks. They're up and running and getting all their digital documents. But then for some of the more complex solutions, it could be 2-3 months. And then, if you're looking at the resorts, that luxury segment, again, it's just a much bigger project. So I can't really put a date on it. It just depends on how many systems we're bringing in. We have to do a lot of quality assurance. So, it just depends on the product and the hotel itself.
Right. The size does matter in the setup time, it sounds like. All right. So, hey, I noticed one thing on your website when I was looking at it, and I wanted to give you kudos and a shout out for it, is that you've got this new sustainability certified designation where you're trying to help promote, and I'm sure your products are contributing to that, saving paper, saving trees, and I think it's wonderful, man. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, of course. And actually, I'm glad you saw that on our website. That's a good sign. So, and I actually have to give kudos to our marketing team. We grew a good bit this past year. By the way, Jason Fried, he's sort of a data evangelist in the space. He's been writing a lot on that subject, on the sustainability. But Bill as well, our chief marketing officer, he said we need to get this in front of people. So let's go ahead and put on our website. Anybody can go in there. So if you go to MDO.io and go to sustainability, scroll down a little bit, you'll see that sustainability calculator. And a lot of times people just want to know, how much is it going to cost? How much is it going to save me? What's the ROI? So this is sort of a quick way. It's not going to be obviously 100% accurate. It's a free tool we're putting out there, but it's good. Definitely gets you thinking, and we also have a certificate that we give hotel groups. So I've actually posted it on my LinkedIn a couple times. Once your hotels are onboarded, and we can verify all this, you apply for the certificate. It's very easy. You just click on the link and how many hotels, we verify it. And then there you go. And hotels love this because a lot of times, more and more, they're being asked by owners, even by groups, what is your hotel doing to be sustainable? So this is a great way to,
Yeah. So it definitely helps, and now the ESG guidance is out. So it definitely helps with that, with a lot of the hotel companies, the owners, and the management companies. So I looked at that and I thought it was like, man, what a great, thing to do, and to make it pretty straightforward where somebody can just fill it. Okay, well, how much are you printing and how much are you copying? And when you actually kind of scroll down and you start looking at statistics for the number of trees that you're saving and all of the, the gasoline and all of that good stuff. And trust me, I used to work in a paper mill. That was my summer job. So I kind of know about the heat and all of that stuff that it takes to make paper come out one end, from pulp to paper, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's an easy process.
No, and Ted, actually on that same page, because when we first put that up there, I asked, sort of our C-level, I said, well, do we have data to back this up? And I think you kind of mentioned there is, we're certified, and there's a lot of stuff on there that tells you exactly, the process that we went through to get that data. And if you look at, for example, Marriott's ESG report, there's a small section that talks about MDO. We have a corporate contract with their managed hotels. So they're all on that solution, and it's available for franchise hotels as well.
Wow. That is huge, man. Congratulations on that. Congratulations on the Marriott work as well, because that's a nice client to have on your customer.
Yeah. No, especially, when I tell that to certain hotel groups,
Right.
they always like to hear it. And there's, Marriott, there's obviously a contract. There's preferred pricing for Marriott. So that's always good for hotels.
Right. Well, that's awesome, man. Hey, I definitely appreciate you giving us a few minutes. So I got a feeling your phone is probably going to be ringing off the hook here a little bit because now people know more about you and this sustainability certification. How do people find you if they're interested in learning more about your product and how to go about chatting with you?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways. You can, first of all, I'm very open. You can reach me via email. It's eduardo@mydigitaloffice.com, or you can call me at 678-977-7921. Or you can also just go on our website, just contact us page, or there's always a live demo button. Basically, we hold monthly demos of that solution, the paperless night audit. But you can also just, request to chat with us.
Right. And don't forget your LinkedIn page.
My link, of course, yeah. No, thank you. So I for the past year, I've been making it a mission to be more active on LinkedIn. And that's really how I found your show, which is really cool. I follow a couple others as well. So yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'd love to chat.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I definitely appreciate it again. Hey, make sure you like and subscribe to our LinkedIn page, YouTube. We'll check out all of the THM episodes, and we'll keep them coming always every 2 weeks. So thanks again for joining us. This has been another Test Hospitality Minute. You guys have a great day.